Okay, so let's say I have this string here. This is a sentence, but instead of spaces, the words are separated by underscores. Well, how am I going to rewrite this sentence, but with proper spaces? Well, of course, one way would be to go one character at a time, read it with midstring, and then feed it back into another variable, and if it's an underscore, replace it with a space. And that's perfectly fine. But in Yap, we have another way of doing this. So we print a string just to make sure that we got it right. So now we create a little dimension, a little array, dim this array with one member in it. Don't worry. Remember, arrays can grow, they can never shrink. And it will grow soon enough. So we use now this token command. And we say, okay, we want to split up the string A string. We want to feed it into this array. And we want to start a new array member whenever you see an underscore. Now, if you leave this one out, this last one, it is optional, then it will, by default, oh, I made myself invisible here. By default, it will use either space or tab, so then it just reacts to white space. But we have said in this case we want to this is the boundary, an underscore. Could have been a hyphen, could have been a vertical pipe symbol, whatever. So we got a for next loop in which we say bstring equals bstring, which starts out as empty, plus every member of that new array plus a space. And then print bstring. Okay, so let's see how that works. And so you can see all the underscores have been replaced by spaces. It is not perfect because there actually is a space at the back here. Of course, we've got trim commands to get rid of that. But that demonstrates the things you can do with token. If there's a regular pattern in your string, you can use the token command to break it up. And then you can manipulate those pieces in any way you like. By convention, we use Z as the array to push things into. There's no real reason for it. Can be anything. Okay, so a token is only half the story. We also need to look at split. So it means I have to go out again and write a new little example program. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so we have this program. I've removed the first print statement. And you can see I have added a little period there just to show you that there is an extra space. Now, what happens if I add a whole bunch of underscores? Let's try that. Absolutely nothing. Looks exactly the same, because token ignores empty cells, right? There's no content to feed into the actual result to the array, then it just ignores it. But sometimes you don't want that. Sometimes you want to know exactly how many pieces of information there could have been between these separators. And that is when we use split. Now let's save that. And now you can see the period is way over here because it's added these extra spaces. Let's demonstrate that. So with split, it actually sees 14 different pieces of information. Some of them just happen to be empty. But if we change this back to token, it only sees 4. So you have to think a little bit carefully about what you're trying to achieve. Do you only care about the actual bits of information that are there, or do you care about the potential bits of information? See, so split is more like a spreadsheet. Just because a cell is empty doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Okay, so I hope that made clear the difference between split and token. They're very useful, but you have to think a little bit about what you're trying to achieve before you pick one.